Hi YouTubers! So I want to talk about something important, which is basically a ramble. Now, this is going to be a very important ramble, which is about YouTubers. So technically we are all YouTubers on YouTube. Nice big ass YouTuber like the big ass cigar. Whether you have 1 subscriber or whether you have 20 million subscribers, we are all technically YouTubers. I'm a YouTuber. Every person is a YouTuber, all the way up to freaking PewDiePie. So, in freaking T-Series. Anyway, but the point is, some people do YouTube for a living, which I have no problem with. It's their choice. You know, I would never do YouTube for a living myself. But some people do YouTube for a living. And I want to talk about, in particular, the timeline around that. When did people start really taking YouTube seriously? And when did people start really, actually doing YouTube for a living? We have to go back in time to the golden age of YouTube, back before there was all this crap on YouTube. Like all these fancy, freaking features, going back to the good old days of, Don't Make Britney Cry, Charlie the Unicorn, Charlie Bit My Finger, all these, YouTube classics, Numa Numa, all these, Me at the Zoo, all these, classic videos, back then. And a lot of people would say YouTube's golden age was between 2005 and 2010. Other people would say 2006 to 2010. Other people would say 2006 to 2012. It's widely debated among YouTubers exactly when the golden age happened. So essentially, during the golden age of YouTube, I would say, in my opinion, my personal opinion, like my asshole, YouTube's golden age is 2006 to 2010, maybe 2009. And essentially during that golden age, so there was really no such thing as a YouTuber, hi YouTubers! Nothing like today. I mean, there was nothing like today, whereas people doing YouTube for an actual living. I mean, there was very, very, very few people back then who were actually in the YouTube Partner Program. I first started hearing about the Partner Program back in 2007. And back then, if you were a YouTube partner, you were, for a better word, fucking famous. I mean, you were fucking famous. I mean, if you were actually in the revenue sharing program back in 2007 or 2006, OMG, were you a superstar? You're a superstar. So, yeah. Because there was no such thing as that back then. Then around 2010 or so, more people became, YouTube partners. That's when I started looking into it for myself, and I really wanted to become a YouTube partner. I finally became a partner back in 2011. So, by 2010, there were definitely more people in the YouTube partner program. I remember when people like Fluffy Talks, became a YouTube partner, and now he does YouTube for a living. But exactly when people started to really take it seriously and, really start to, adapt the word YouTuber in terms as a career. Now there is a career basically called a YouTuber. So there was no a YouTuber back in 2006 or 2007. It was usually some guy with a random, camcorder he bought from Walmart or Target, making videos of his fucking cats, his fucking cats. It's but around 2010, 2011 is when a hell of a lot more people became partners. And it's that's when people actually started to take this a little bit more seriously. And certainly nowadays, 2021, I mean, there's a shit ton of partners nowadays. I mean, it's it's actually considered unusual nowadays to not be in the YouTube Partner Program. And so obviously there's a shit ton of people who do YouTube for a living. They rely on it for their income. It's still not super common because you have to have a pretty damn decent amount of subscribers to really be able to do it for a living comfortably, depending on your living situation. So me personally, in order for me to do YouTube for a living, and pay my bills, pay my rent, pay my cable, and really rely on it and actually quit my job at Roche Brothers, I would have to have probably several 100,000 subscribers at least, and there's just no way that's ever going to happen. So, and nor do I ever want it to happen. So, I never want to go viral. But I would say around the early 2010s, maybe 2013, 2014, 2015 is when people really, really started to take it seriously. You see people like Boogie, Boogie2988 on YouTube. He started to take it really seriously around then. And you see other people like Optimus. Optimus is another, vlogger, gaming vlogger who started to take it really seriously back then. He now does YouTube for a living. Boogie now does YouTube for a living. yeah, around that time, I would say anywhere from as early as like 2011, 2012, all the way up to like 2015, 2016 is like when people really, really started to take it seriously. Because back in 2007, it was just a fucking hobby. I mean, for a better word, it was just a fucking hobby. I mean, nobody took it really seriously. Even the people who were in the revenue sharing program were not making millions of dollars. Even, PewDiePie wasn't even out back then. His first video, I think, was in 2010. It's like even freaking, hi YouTubers, PewDiePie. And people didn't act the way they did back then. I mean, I'm not saying they act like jerks now, but I mean, people didn't act the way they did, now with, that, hashtag this, hashtag that, their iPhone. There was really no iPhone back in 2006 or 2007. So, yeah, I would say probably around the mid 2010s is when people really, really started to take YouTube seriously and really started to say, like, what, this is something I actually want to do for a living. And it's like, but keep in mind, to do YouTube for a living, even present day 2021 and going into 2022, you have to have a damn good following. So it can't be like, oh, I only have, 30,000 subscribers and I want to do YouTube for a living. No way in hell. It's like you have to have, I would say, probably a bare minimum. I mean, unless you're living in a really, a situation where you don't need a lot of money, to live in a nice house, live in a nice apartment, and, really rely on for your grocery bills, your recreational bills, really rely on to pay your bills, I would say you have to have at least 500,000 subscribers. Maybe less. I mean, maybe less. Maybe I really have no freaking clue, because obviously YouTubers have to be very careful about how they disclose things. But I would say at least 500,000 subscribers, if not closer to 1,000,000 subscribers. Most of the people you're seeing who are doing YouTube for a living, it's their actual income. That's how they pay their cable bill, their cell phone bill, they pay their mortgage or their rent. I'd say most people have at least around 1,000,000 subscribers, at least like 800,000, 900,000. So, but I would say it was around like the early to mid 2010s as people started to consider like a YouTuber as a profession. So anyway, pretty fucking cool. Bye.